one of Swami Kriyananda's chants, rise in freedom. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing to fear anymore. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom. Nothing on earth can hold me. Rise, O my soul, in freedom.
Continue to meditate as you listen to these words on our affirmation for this week, sharing True happiness is found not in possessions, but in sharing what one has with others. Thus is one's self-identity expanded as he learns to live in and enjoy a greater reality. People who gladly share with others feel themselves bathed by a constant inner stream of happiness. Sharing is the doorway through which the soul escapes the prison of self-preoccupation. It is one of the clearest paths to God. Let's affirm together first in a strong voice. What I give to others, I give not away.
What I give to others, I give not away.
For in my larger reality, it remains ever mine.
For in my larger reality, it remains ever mine.
I am happy in the happiness of all.
I am happy in the happiness of all.
Now a little softer. What I give to others, I give not away.
What I give to others, I give not away.
For in my larger reality, it remains ever mine.
For in my larger reality, it remains ever mine.
I am happy in the happiness of all.
I am happy in the happiness of all.
And now in a whisper, taking it even deeper inside. What I give to others, I give not away. For in my larger reality, it remains ever mine. I am happy in the happiness of all. And now silently, broadcasting it from the spiritual eye with the deepest focus. What I give to others, I give not away. For in my larger reality, it remains ever mine. I am happy in the happiness of all. And please pray silently with me. O infinite giver, teach me to find happiness through others. Om. Peace. Amen. Good morning, friends.
Good morning.
Welcome to Sunday service. Thank you all for being here and joining us. We've missed you. We've been gone for over a month now with my mother as she transitioned from this earthly plane into a beautiful realm of light, for which I am extremely grateful, and grateful for all of you and all of your prayers and love and support. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. I'm reading to you from Rays of the One Light, weekly commentaries on the Bible and Bhagavad Gita by Swami Kriyananda. This is week 5, the mystery of Avatara, or divine incarnation. Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. The Bhagavad Gita in the 4th chapter states, as we saw last week, O Bharata, whenever virtue declines and vice predominates, I incarnate on earth. Taking visible form, I come to destroy evil and re-establish virtue. What is the mystery of this divine manifestation? Great avatars such as Krishna and Jesus Christ are born as babies, even as we all are. They take human form and go through normal human experiences as they grow from childhood to adulthood. They eat, they play, they may seem to suffer sickness and disappointment like the rest of us. In what way are they different from other human beings? The important thing to understand is that even as they are like us, so are we also like them. Their realization can be ours too. They come on earth to show us our own divine potential. The difference lies not in the manner of their manifestation on earth, but in the consciousness with which they are born. All things are condensations, so to speak, of the cosmic vibration, Om, described by St. John's Gospel as the Word. Most human beings, however, are unconscious of their divine origin. The avatars, on the other hand, come consciously as manifestations of that divine reality. As the Gospel says in the first chapter, "And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth." Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind. Om, Om, Om.
I too want to welcome you this morning. I had a say yes to life moment with Dharma Devi just before service. She has been intimating that I might be losing my hearing. And as some men can be, they can be stubborn about that kind of thing. And I said right before service, she said something. I thought she said, "I love you." And I said, I love you too. And she said, "I didn't say I love you." She said, I said, "Are you ready?" Yes. Then I said yes to life. And I was ready. I am ready. How are you? Dharma Devi's mother called before Christmas and said, "Will you be coming for Christmas this year?" And we weren't planning to go. And her mom doesn't make those kind of requests normally. And so she took it seriously. And after they talked, we both felt that it was the right thing, that this could be her last Christmas in the body. And so after our long meditation, some of you were at that, the day after, we flew to Georgia for what we thought was going to be a 1-week trip. But when we got there, man proposes, the old saying goes, God disposes. Yeah. And so what happened was she had a treatment for radiation, and after that treatment, it became very clear to her. She said, I'm going to enter into hospice care. And so we were there with her, and we called, and the irony is that Jackie Connors, Jackie started a hospice, one of the first hospice care facilities in the state of Georgia. And in fact, she was, so successful with it that many other hospice care facilities used her as a model and called her. And she did it out of love. And so here, the hospice nurse is coming and interviewing her, and she was counseling and consoling the nurse that, it's okay, I've been through this before. And so we went through this whole process of preparing her for her physical transition. I'm going to tell you another story that's connected. 4 years ago, I was with Dharma Devi again in Georgia with Jackie, and we were sitting around her kitchen table, and seemingly out of nowhere, I was dumbfounded. Sometimes Dharma Devi pulls like these intuitive threads out of some cosmic hat. I'm like, well, where are you going with that? And she doesn't give me the forewarning. And this was one of them. And so we were just talking to her mom about nothing of major consequence. Now, mind you, this was a 7-year battle with cancer that she had, and she was about, 3.5, 4 years into it at that time. It was still very serious, even back then. And Dharma Devi and I were going on a pilgrimage to India with some of our friends from Ananda, Sisi. And she just out of the blue said to her mother, "Why don't you come on the pilgrimage with us?" And I was like gobsmacked, It's just like my jaw sort of dropped because she was the last person you would think that could hold up for a trip to India with a pilgrimage, a lot of walking, everything that entailed. And I couldn't believe that she had invited her. And I just sort of sat back and watched this unfold. And it was the right thing. 2 weeks before we went on that pilgrimage, 4 years ago, Jackie got the word that her cancer came back. So she had been going through chemo and different clinical trials, taking pills, just trying whatever worked. And so she heard 2 weeks before we were to leave that the cancer had come back. And so what would that, evoke in you? Uncertainty, fear, should I go on this trip? But Jackie is a soul of joy. And she just met that with just cheerful courage. And it didn't faze her. And so she came. So she flew from Georgia. We were here, and we met her. We met her in Turkey, in the airport in Turkey halfway. And she didn't, she's not technology savvy, shall we say. And so she didn't have an international plan on her phone. We just said, we'll meet you in this lounge in the Turkey airport, which was, we thought she could find it. And so we were walking through the airport, the maze of this big international airport to find this lounge. And here we just run into her mother, and she has got a pistachio ice cream cone in her hand. And she's just like joyfully going through, and we're like, "Mom, what are you doing? She's like, "Oh, well, I knew I would find you." And so we found her, and we took her to the lounge. This is the kind of soul that she was. She had good cheer. It's a lesson for us in there how to meet our challenges. And so we go on this pilgrimage, and there was an incredible experience that she had. When we were in Varanasi, now some of you, Ramurti and Sita, were with us on this pilgrimage, and they had a close connection with Jackie. Those of you who have been to India, the holy city of Varanasi, it's connected to our Kriya lineage and to this topic today. That's why I was blown away when I saw the topic related to Jackie. The mystery of Avatara. The mystery of Avatara. How these great enlightened masters come to show us not how great they are, but to show us our own divine potential. Well, it's thought that Christ, during his lost years in India, went to India, during his lost years, and that he visited Varanasi. And there are even some scriptures, right? Ram does a beautiful class on original Christianity, how there was this Saint Isa, who they think was also another name for Shiva. And Varanasi is a place of Shiva worship. So it's connected to Christ. It's connected to Babaji. Babaji made the immortal promise, those of you who read the autobiography, that he wouldn't leave his immortal frame in Varanasi. Lahiri Mahashaya, on your far left here. The harbinger of Kriya Yoga, right? This renaissance of self-realization. God is in you, but how do you find him to give you away? Lahiri Mahashaya lived in Varanasi. Where did Paramahansa Yogananda meet his guru? In Varanasi for the first time. An interesting aside, too, for us to take home. Yogananda called Los Angeles the Varanasi of the West. So coming back to this pilgrimage with Jackie, there we are, and we're in Varanasi, and it has, the Ganges runs through it. And there is one particular ghat there where it has many stairs that go up, 40, 50 high stairs. And then you go into these kind of narrow lanes, and that's back, Lahiri lived in a little place back there. And they've created this place, this kind of indoor temple that has some of the relics. It's not Lahiri's home, but it has some of the relics from his home. Paul would love it. It has these huge Shiva lingams, like as tall as this stand, big Shiva lingams. And it has some of his ashes there. And so our group of about 30 of us, including Jackie, she journeyed and did this walk, which was not easy for her at that time. And so we walk up, we chant, we meditate, we feel the Spirit of God. And Jackie shared this incredible experience that she had that evening. She said, there I was meditating with you all, and I felt the presence of Lahiri Mahashaya. And here she is, a devout Catholic. But it shows you, she was an original Christian, right? There's churchianity and there's Christianity. Those are two diametrically opposed things, right? Churchianity, we were just in Middle Georgia for 5. I could tell you, we could talk about churchianity because we saw one church after church after church. Within about 5 miles, there was like 10 churches. In fact, there was this one area where there's this huge cross. I mean, like a 30-foot super cross. And a white cross with red letters. Jesus is coming soon. It's like, oh my God. Really? Like it elicits fear. It doesn't really elicit the most warm approach. Anyway, churchy, but Jackie was a Christian, right? She communed with the light of Christ, the love of Christ, the God eternal spark within her. And so she had this divine experience where she heard Lahiri speaking to her. She felt him laughing. And the words that she shared with us that he said to her, death is immaterial. And he was in laughter. And they communed in this blissful laughter. Isn't that incredible? That happened about 4 years ago. And now here we are back with her on her deathbed, literally. And what a beautiful soul. She also was a painter. And so she would paint these beautiful landscapes, gold and blue and purple, like astral light. Swami Kriyananda talked about how the arts are a hidden message of self-realization, right? That's the higher purpose of art, that it reflects the spark, the beauty of our soul, the beauty of God in nature. And it reminds us that there's something more beautiful even beyond all nature. And so she, up to her last days, she was painting. And all around her home, there's maybe 50 paintings. It's just beautiful. You just walk in, you feel enveloped in Divine Mother, in her arms, right? The God of beauty. And so there we were attending to her one day, and I noticed this painting by her bed. And I said, what is that painting? I wasn't sure if it was one of hers. And she said, oh, those are the words Lahiri Mahashai said to me in Varanasi. And I didn't want to forget them, so I painted them. Will you take it? Will you bring it to your home? She asked us to take it. But I was rooted to this spot when I read the painting, because there was more to that message. God is one. All that you wish for all that you desire shall be fulfilled. There is only death is immaterial. That was right in the center. Death is immaterial. There is only one path, only one way of awakening: love. This is the soul. This is Dharma Devi's mother. What a great soul. We were blessed to know her. This is the mystery of Avatara, that these great saints come. And they're not bound by churchianity. Boom! They bust open the doors. Everyone, like Jesus Christ said, everyone is welcome at my Father's table. It is only the vindictive and the narrow-minded hearts and minds of men that creates this fundamental exclusivity. No, just as Lahiri, he radiated that divine love and the hungry, hungry hippo of God's bliss that eats up everything, all your desires, all your wishes, everything will be fulfilled. What did Master, our Yoganandaji, say in that poem, Samadhi? Banished the veils of light and shade, lifted every vapor of sorrow, sailed away all dawns of fleeting joy. Gone the dim sensory mirage, love, hate, health, disease, life, death. Perish these false shadows on the screen of duality. See, and that's what Lahiri was saying to her. Death is immaterial. You are immaterial. Not that you don't matter. You are of spirit. It's the same, that's what happened with Lahiri. When one of his disciples, those of you who have read the autobiography, tried to take his picture 12 times, and it was invisible. He just wasn't there. And he finally said, "Oh, please, Guru Dev, I long for your photograph." And after a long, pregnant pause of hours, I believe it was, Lahiri finally said to this disciple, "I am spirit. Can your technology capture that infinite essence?" And finally, he supplicated, I evidently not, Guru Deva, but I long for that infinite spirit that is perfectly manifested in your form. Please allow me to take your photograph. Very well, I will pose for you tomorrow. And this is the one and only photograph of Lahiri Mahashaya. This is why in India they say one moment in the presence of a saint can be your raft over the ocean of delusion. Just one moment, if you are open and receptive. Swami Kriyananda found Autobiography of a Yogi in a bookstore, Doubleday Durand in Midtown Manhattan. Yogananda saw Sri Yukteswar in that narrow lane of Varanasi. One moment. And then what happens? Then fear or uncertainty or doubt creeps in, and Yogananda walked. And then he was magnetically drawn back. The same thing happened to Swami Kriyananda. He left the bookstore before buying it, then he was magnetically drawn back. When you see, I had the same experience with that photograph. This is the same photograph of Yogananda on the cover of the autobiography. There's just, because it's, as Swami is reminding us, that the masters are like a flawless mirror. They reflect our higher self, because there is no other self than that deathless self within. So we realize, how do we get to that eternal realization, though? That's where I would encourage you to explore, journey on this path of self-realization. Not this exclusive path, not a churchianity path, but not Self-Realization Fellowship Incorporated, but self-realization. commune with God, love God, learn Kriya Yoga. And then we'll all be laughing with Lahiri. Death is immaterial. I am immaterial. I am one with Spirit. I'd like to close with the whispers from eternity. I invite you to close your eyes. We got home and I opened to this whisper and immediately thought of Jackie. Teach me to drown in thy light and live. This is inspired by a Hindu bhajan. I come to thee with the song of my smiles. Whatever treasures have lain in the secrecy of my soul, I bring eagerly to thee. I bring thee all the honey from the hive of my heart. All that was ever mine is now thine alone. The sunlight of this world, shining upon my eager hopes and brief, fickle fulfillments, burned me repeatedly with dissatisfaction. Now I will quench my thirst forever in thy radiant waters. The taper of my aspiration towards happiness will burst aflame with thy coming into a conflagration of bliss. In thy vast, enchanting sea of light, I will swim joyfully forever. Teach me to drown in thee and live, rather than live in a mirage paradise of earthliness and die.
O Master, may thy joy fill our days. O Master, may thy wisdom guide our ways. The time has come for us to see that there's but one reality upon the earth and high above, the truth that all was made from love. A love that calls to us to fly above the hills, above the sky, above the storms, above the pain, a land where peace and laughter reign. O Master, may thy joy fill our days. O Master, may thy wisdom guide our ways. Guide all our hopes and all our dreams, past every glow that only seems, into the light, the inner sun, into the truth that we're all one. Help us to find in every hour, in every thought, in every flower, a joy that spans eternity, the truth that makes us ever free.